Welcome to IJustWatched. I'm Joseph. We're about to discuss Godzilla Minus One. Wow. Spoiler warning if you haven't seen it. However, if you grew up, and I mean, I did watching the classics. I don't think I've ever seen the original from 1954. And I also didn't realize that my boy's turning 70. So happy anniversary, happy birthday to the boy, to the ultimate king of the kaijus, the ultimate beast, Godzilla. Japanese brought Godzilla back to the roots of what is Godzilla. And don't get it twisted. I do love our current Godzilla design and stuff. Like, I can discuss that for sure. It felt good to see it, and the best way I can describe it is if I was watching a classic Godzilla movie. I love the respect they played to, hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly, Tomoyuki Tanaka, the original creator of the design of Godzilla, because it looked and felt like that Godzilla. It looks super clean. It felt like a remastered version of a classic Godzilla film when it comes to his design. His design felt very classic in that sense, and it looked good. He looked menacing. He's 100% the villain in this movie. Godzilla's an asshole, all right? Like, that ass, like a monster, and not not in a punny way. He's a legit menace, all right? I can see J. Jonah Jameson, like, with the newspaper talking about Gojira, all right? Because he is a menace to society. And I love the new roar, the way they developed it. I love hearing he has his theme music, like Jaws or Jason. You hear the da-na-na-na, anytime you hear that, you know Japan or San Francisco. Fuck. This movie was enjoyable. I loved it. The whole thing's in Japanese, and I was reading subtitles and watching it, and just like, I want to see this again because I was loving it. This is definitely an emotionally driven story, because it's funny. If you take Godzilla out of this and just add it to the fact that it takes place at the very end of World War II, and Japan is trying to rebuild. They're trying to puzzle together the pieces that are left of their lives. And you can see them trying to rebuild, and the main character, Homeboy, falls into this family quite literally, and you see him fighting his demons from this war. And this film, without Godzilla, is a great epic when it comes to the trauma that is fighting in a war, PTSD, the suffering of it, the consequences. So they created this human, tragic story of trying to rebuild after a huge tragedy. And then they threw Godzilla in now. So you have these moments when you see them building with the family, you're like rooting for them. You're like, dude, I want you to do well. I want you to rebuild. I want success and happiness in your future. And then Godzilla was like, da-na-na-na, I'm fucking up, boys. This boy's beam. If this isn't a great visual representation of what it's like to see a nuke. Don't get me wrong, Oppenheimer, that was real. But I'm talking about the way they did his beam in this one. The charge up that he has to do, you see, and the things lock his spines, and he like comes back, breathes, and launches. It's not, I've never seen, or to my memory, remember a beam where you see it, and when it hits, it's not a beam of destruction. He launched a nuclear missile, basically, in beam form, because when it hits, you hear cloud, and I'm like, oh, shit. The bombs dropped during World War II had a form. That's it. That's what they look like. And it's wild. And you see the blowback, and then when everything shuts back in, and it was beautiful. Like, this movie's great. I genuinely loved it. I want to watch it again. It's definitely rewatchable. It shows you the story, or the human perseverance, how much we're willing to fight for that survival, for that happiness, for that piece of a future. I hope they can stay separate in the sense where I don't want this greatness to mess with other greatness that is, because I love Godzilla vs. Kong. Yes, it's a little bit more fantastical in that aspect because we're focused on the kaiju themselves, the titans. We're focused on them, which we need to be for that universe. I loved it. And keep that going. Don't switch it up. And I don't care about people in that universe. I don't want to see them in this universe. I want to focus on the titans living their lives. I want that perspective. You come to this one, yes, the perspective of the people is more important because Godzilla is just there for destruction in that classical sense. So it's two completely storytelling differences. So comparing them, to me, and I've seen people talk about it, they're like, see, this is what we need when it comes to Godzilla. I was like, this is something we can have, and I enjoy, and I'd like more. It ends with a bit of a tease to a possible sequel. The director came out and said he'd like to do a sequel. I would like a sequel, but I don't want this to mess with what we have, because the first Godzilla we got in 2014 tried. They focused on the humans, and it was a bad story, and it was done in a lackluster way, and we got very little of Godzilla, and they were trying to make him that menace until you see him kind of turn into that anti-hero. He's really just a hero. He's not trying to kill us on purpose. He's just too big, all right? He just don't care about us. When you walk, are you like, I'm not trying to step on any ants as I maneuver through my life. You know, I'm like walking to my car. If I step on a bug, I'm not like, oops. No, you're just walking to your car. That's Godzilla. He's like, I'm just walking. I'm strutting the earth, baby. In that aspect, I want to keep them separate because I like the idea that we're leaning into just diving into the fantastical bits of Godzilla and other kaijus and other titans. I'm excited to see where this goes because if he comes back and we're getting a sequel, and dude, the way he regenerates in this movie, oh, shit was dope. I was like, genuinely, the writing, the story, I cared for the characters. I wanted us to win. Godzilla's a menace in this. I was not rooting for Godzilla, not a single time. Don't get me wrong. I was dying because Godzilla was grabbing, well, not grabbing, he was biting ships, boats, trains, items, and yeeting them like he's your shit. I don't know who pissed off this Godzilla, but this Godzilla got issues and somebody fucked with it in the worst of ways. So I'm enticed and I'm intrigued to see where it goes because it definitely sets up a sequel. It is making money. All right, it costs like 15 million to make. It's breaking records. Hopefully there's enough there to make a sequel because I'd like it. I don't know what we'd call it, Godzilla -2, but I loved it. I want to hear your thoughts. Have you seen it? If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's probably one of the better movies of the year, surprisingly. And if you're a Godzilla fan, if you're a kaiju fan, we eating good right now. But I'm happy. All right, I'm getting my fill. All right, I'm getting the classical asshole Godzilla. All right, that asshole, the menace to society, and I'm getting the hero who's like, I guess I protect these hormigas, you know, y'all kind of cool. But I want to hear your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns. How'd you feel about it? How are you liking it? Like I said, the design is great. It felt classic. It felt like I was watching an original. Like it just felt like they remastered a classic Godzilla movie design-wise. Visually beautiful. Everything worked for this movie, so definitely recommend it. Definitely rewatchable. If I had to pick a design though, personally, I do love the design we get like in King of Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong. It's something about his eyes there. Here he has like those psycho murder eyes. In that one he has like those in-depth, like I want to hug you eyes. Which one do you prefer? Have you seen it? You should see it. I love chatting with y'all. But until next time, stay safe, be well, y con mucho amor. Adios.